what is WPS and PQR?
Well, it's related to welding. Now, many people have this question about Wps Pqr. It is gaining popularity today because it's extensively used in welding, especially when you qualify the procedure and performance. Now, WPS is a document, that will actually list out the variables that you are going to weld a particular joint. So it gives you a kind of joint guarantee or compatibility of a joint for particular filler metal combination within the thickness range and for a particular process. So WPS is nothing but a document that you generate that tells you a particular material which is identified by P number. P number identifies the material, and particular electrode or filler metal identified by F number. In ASME section 2 is identified by P number or F number. When used with a particular process, your different welding processes, small shielded metal arc welding, GMAW gas metal arc welding, like it's also called as MIG and TIG. Then TIG is tungsten inert gas welding, FCAW, flux core arc welding. All these are different processes. Electron beam welding, submerged arc welding, so many. So with a particular process, certain material which is expressed as P number with certain thickness range will be qualified by making a coupon and then subjecting that coupon to mechanical test. Now what happens? I make a document which is just a document. It is not proven it will work. But when I prepare a coupon and test it, that's called as PQR, procedure qualification record. That means I will visit as a welding inspector. I will allow the welder to weld the coupon. I will make the appropriate diameter coupon of particular thickness so that it will cover range of thicknesses. So when you make a WPS coupon, typically the thickness range will be covered. When you make a coupon of a certain thickness, it will cover some lower and higher thickness range. So based on the production requirement, I will advise what size coupon it should make. Okay. And then the coupon will be subjected to mechanical test, 2 tensile typically, and 4 bend test. Now bend test could be 2 root, 2 side face, and for thicker specimen you go for side bend because face and root bend become difficult for thick specimen. So after satisfactory mechanical test, 2 tensile and 4 bend, my PQR is subjected to mechanical test. It is qualified. The WPS stands qualified. So PQR is a backup for the WPS to qualify. Now when the WPS is qualified, one welder gets qualified who has welded the PQR coupon. He will get qualified automatically, but within the ranges of essential variables. Now we have a simple term here: essential variables and non-essential variables, and also we use supplementary essential variables. Essential variables means if you make any change, you have to requalify the WPS. I have a WPS, let's say, of thickness 10 mm. Tomorrow I want to weld 30 mm. Now 10 mm will not cover 30 mm because my 10 mm coupon also, if I use, it will cover up to 20 mm. So my thickness requirement goes more. How to weld again another coupon? So to add another PQR to the existing WPS, it's possible. So I'll amend my WPS. So our WPS has certain limits, thickness range, material specification, all this. So I cannot use it every time. Okay. And PQR is the procedure qualification record, the coupon that I make to qualify the WPS. This coupon will be according to ASME section 9. You cannot make with your own mind. It has certain dimensions, certain diameter. Even the way you take out the mechanical test specimen is also listed out in the code. You have to follow the code and then subject this to mechanical test. And once your procedure is qualified, next you can qualify the welders. Now that is straightforward. Now for which you have an option for a certain material, you can go for radiography. But otherwise, you have to go for 2 bend tests to qualify a welder. So after having qualified the procedure, next step is to qualify the welders by either mechanical test or radiography. And this is called as WPQ, performance qualification record, whatever. Okay. So and WQT, welders qualification test. Now this specimen will be under different essential variables. Essential variables for welder are different from essential variables for procedure, because welder ability to deposit a weld depends on the skill of the welder. Now diameter, for that matter, diameter is not an essential variable for procedure. It doesn't matter. Procedure only thickness is important, But diameter is an essential variable for welder, because welder, when you go for smaller diameter, you need higher skill. If you are qualified with small diameter, large diameter you can weld easily, but smaller ones you cannot. So there is a limit again. Okay, so diameter is an essential variable. And of course, filler metal, like this classified by F number, like the electrodes that you use, the common electrodes which you use, for example, in shaded metal arc welding is 6010 cellulosic. Okay, this F3, F number is 3, difficult to weld, but very good electrode for harsh penetrating arc for pipeline, very good penetration from one side. Cellulosic is preferred when there is more moisture because good hydrogen tolerance. And it is rutile, the welder friendly electrode 6012, 6013. So this is easy to weld. Okay, so like F2, and then if it is with iron powder, then it's easier to weld. You can go for F1. As you add iron powder, the weld becomes very fluid. It's easy to weld. But again, it will support in only flat and horizontal position. That is different. And then low hydrogen is F4. 7015, 7016, 701. Difficult to weld. So welder qualified with higher F number will be automatically qualified to weld with lower F number. So again, these are the essential variables for welder. So when you qualify a welder, you make a card for that welder that will identify what diameter he can weld, minimum welder, what key number he can weld, what process is qualified on, and the validity will be 6 months. 6 months you can use it. After 6 months, the card has to be renewed. They based on its continuity or by subjecting another coupon by testing it, subjecting it to bend or your radiography depending on the code. So you have to requalify the welder. So for production requirement, you do need qualified procedure and qualified welder. Then only you will have a good quality weld in your structure. And that's the reason the responsibility lies with the manufacturer. This thing cannot be subcontracted. I own a particular organization, I have welders. I will not subcontract that particular job to you or to anyone. It is my responsibility. I will get the job done. I will employ you, but responsibility is mine to make sure they are properly trained, properly qualified. Okay, this is very important. When I employ any third party, I have to make sure that the code requirements are followed. So it's very important for you to understand the WPS, how important it is to qualify the weld joint and also to qualify your welders, who are equally important, because even if you qualify the welders, later if your welders that you employ are not good enough, what is the point? You will not be able to produce a weld of required quality. So what is WPS first? In short, you qualify the joint regardless of the skill of the welder. I will tell you, let's my P number of this thickness, this process, this preheat, whatever in the essential variable will produce a good joint, assuming that welder is good. So that's why there is a gamble. When I qualify the procedure, I have to select the best welder from my facility. If the welder is not good, my procedure qualification coupon will fail. But that you can do nothing. So again, see, the code says this is your thing. You have to manage. You have to get the best welder anyway. And anyway, that best welder will get qualified. That's a different matter. But you need a good welder so that procedure qualification coupon does not fail. And then the different positions I know. The 1G is flat, okay, 2G is horizontal for plate, 3G is vertical, 4G is overhead. And for pipe, if I rotate the pipe and hold the electrode, is 1G. Same like plate. Or we say downhand. Or if I keep the pipe vertical so that weld is horizontal, fixed or rotated, it will be 2G. And if I keep the pipe stationary, then it will cover 1G flat, it will cover 3G vertical, it will cover 4G overhead, but it will not cover 2G. So to cover all positions, you need 2G and 5G. Or 6G, the pipe is held inclined at 45 degrees and then you weld. So these are the positions which is again an essential variable for performance and not for the procedure. So when these requirements are met according to the code, be it section 9 or AWSD 1.1, then you prepare the card, and then WPS will be always reviewed by the authorized inspector. And WPS does not expire, remember, but it belongs to particular contractor. It can be taken by another contractor. There are some code requirements, but WPS stands qualified throughout, as long as do not change the P numbers or the material specification. So it has no any end. But welders need to be requalified every 6 months. So this is the difference, because skill does change. This is a way how it is expressed. The skill is not fixed. You don't know if the welder is not welding for long period, his skill will actually not be. It has to be tested whether or not he is able to, is having a continuity and is able to actually maintain that skill. So that part is also very important. Okay, so it's an important function for any production weld, that before any production weld starts, you have to qualify a procedure, which is a function of the manufacturer. It must be under manufacturer supervision, and then you will have to qualify rest of the welders by performance qualification, and every 6 months they have to be tested, so that your production weld has the required quality that will be met. So this is the requirement of WPS and PQR, what we commonly discuss, and it is very important.
How welders can qualify?
Yeah, as I said to you, welders are qualified mostly by the bend test or by radiography, depending on the code. I already covered that. So I think this much is enough for a layman. So there's no need to go in further depth, because basic things functions, because then you have to go according to the code and you have to make the selections, and the details we actually cover in separate lectures. There are separate trainings for WPS and PQR, so that you are able to do it by yourself by following the code. You have certain formats, so you can follow those formats, and accordingly you can qualify the procedure or qualify the welders. So it's an important area of production, and welders have to be qualified. Any welder can be qualified later. Once the procedure is qualified, you'll have to weld a coupon, and then, but the P number, everything has to match. So unless the procedure is qualified, welders cannot be qualified. Many people just ask many times, oh, I want to qualify the welder. They don't even know the procedure has to be qualified first. Without procedure, you cannot qualify the welder directly, because welders have to be qualified on some material, P number, some process, which is established by WPS as a joint guarantee. The WPS will actually offer the joint guarantee to make to confirm that the weld is capable of producing the desired strength when welded under those essential variables. Okay, that's it.